better deal. So let's set up Cannon's grocery first. Okay, so Cannon's grocery, I had $6. It cost $6.80 for 10 cans. All right. And I want to find the unit rate. So I want to know the price of just one can. Just one can. So I know I'm going from 10 down to 1 by dividing by 10. So that means I'm going to also, in my numerator, divide by 10. So 6.80 divided by 10. This should be pretty easy to do on your own, but if you need to, pop into a calculator. If I'm divided by 10, I'm just moving my decimal over one time to the left. So my answer is 68 cents. So at Cannon Grocery, there's 68 cents for one can. So let's look at Tay's Market. Let's compare now. So Tay's Market is $7.44 for 12 cans. And I want to know the price of one can. So I'm going from 12 down to 1 by dividing by 12. So I'm going to divide by 12 in my numerator. And I'm going to pop into the calculator, $7.44 divided by 12. And it gives me 62 cents. So which one costs less per can? We see for one can, Cannon costs 68 cents. And for one can at Tay's, it costs 62 cents. So 62 cents is the better deal. So when it says which store has the best unit price on soda, Tay's Market. Woo woo. But we're not done yet because it asks you, and by how much? So now I need to see the difference in price. So that means I need to subtract. I have 68 cents minus 62 cents to see what the difference in price was. So Tay's Market wins because you save 6 cents. It's a 6 cent difference. Number 15. Sergio finds that for every hour he lifts weights, he burns 250 calories. Today he lifted weights for 4 hours. How many calories did Sergio burn today? So this is a simple proportion. Some of you may have looked at this and said, oh, well, if 1 hour, 250 calories. So I just times that by 4 to get 4 hours. And you would be absolutely correct. But let me show you how to set this up in a proportion. I know for 250 calories, he does that in 1 hour. So I'm going to compare that and see how many calories he will burn if he had 4 hours. So 1 to 4, I jump from 1 to 4 by multiplying by 4. So in my numerator, I'm going to also multiply by 4. And 250 times 4 is 1,000. So Sergio burned 1,000 calories. All right, number 16. A recycling machine crushes 150 pounds of cans in 3 minutes. How many pounds of cans will the machine crush in 11 minutes? All right, so this is another one that can be done in 2 different ways. Let me show you the first way. The first way is I know it can crush 150 pounds of cans in 3 minutes. So if I want to know how many 11 minutes, I want to see, how many cans can it crush in just how many pounds of cans in just 1 minute? So that I can multiply that by 11. So I'm going to find the unit rate. 150 cans in 3 minutes. And set my proportion equal to, if I just wanted to find out 1 minute. And so I'm going from 3 to 1 by dividing by 3. So in my Numerator, I'm also going to divide by 3. And 150 divided by 3 is 50. So I know that this can do 50 pounds of cans in just 1 minute. But I need to find for 11 minutes. So 50 pounds times 11 minutes. And if you pop into your calculator 50 times 11, that would give you 550 pounds. All right, so let's look at another way you could have done this. You could have set up your proportions so that you can do cross multiplication. So I could say I know that the machine does 150 pounds in 3 minutes. I want to know how many it would do in 11 minutes. So I have to find out. I'm going to use cross multiplication. 150 times 11, pop that into my calculator, and I get 1,650. And then I divide that by the number that's left, and that's 3. 1,650 divided by 3 in my calculator tells me equals 550. So I get that 550 pounds of cans will be crushed in 11 minutes. Number 17. What is 12% of 60? What is 12% of 60? So we have to use our strategies. We box our percent. We circle our of. And we don't have an is here because that's what we're going to find. All right. So let's set it up. We know the percent is the number over 100. So 12% is 12 over 100. And then we know our is missing, but we know the of, which is 60. So the quickest way to do this is cross multiplication. 12 times 60. We pop that into the calculator. That's going to give us 720. And then we're going to divide that 720 by the number that's left. So 720 divided by 100. And you can pop that into the calculator, or you can simply, if we're dividing by 100, we're going to move the decimal place 2 places. 1, 2 for 7.2. So where it says, what is 12% of 60? 7.2 is. All right. Let's look at number 18. It says 18 is 20% of what number? So we know we could box our percent. We know it's 20%. And it says 18 is. So that's my is. It wants to know of what number? I don't know yet. I got to find it. So 20%, that's my 20 over 100, is equal to my is, which is 18, over my of. We don't know that yet. So I'm going to do cross multiplication again. That's where I multiply diagonally. 18 times 100 equals 1800 or 1800, however you prefer to say it. And now I take that 1800 and I divide it by what's left there. So 1800 divided by 20. Pop that into your calculator and you would get 90. So 18 is 20% of what number? Is of 90. Of 90. All right, time to do our last code. Our last code. Code number 3. This is the month you were born. The month you were born. So code number 3 is the month you were born. So if you were born in January, your word is Rex. March, Saurus. May, Colossus. July, Soar. September, Odon. November, Dactyl. February, Spinax. April, Draco or Draco. June, Stegos. August, Raptor. October, Titanus. And December, Ceratops. So you guys know by now that Miss Tay, I was born in February. So mine is Spinax. So I am going to write that down for my third code. Okay. So let's finish up. We're almost done, guys. Okay. Number 19. Jorge wanted to reserve a ticket to go on a field trip. He had to pay 10% of the total price. He paid $30 to reserve his ticket. What was the total price of the ticket? Okay. So I know that my percent is 10%. So I'm going to put a box around it. He paid $30. Now, is that the whole amount? Well, it told me that he only had to pay 10%. So I know the 10% is not 100%. So that means my 30 is just my part or my is. So I'm going to underline it. So it wants to know the total price. So that's going to be my of. So I'm going to circle it. So now it's time for me to set up my proportion. So I know 10% means that I'm putting my 10 over 100. And I'm setting that equal to my is, just $30, over my of, which I don't know yet. Okay. So I can make a really easy jump here. So I'm not going to use cross multiplication because I know I can go from 10 to 30 by simply multiplying by 3. So that means that I'm going to also multiply my denominator by 3. And 100 times 3 is 300. So my total price, what was the total price of the ticket? $300. Wow, that's a really expensive field trip. Maybe they went to Disney World. All right, number 20. Marcella and Javier put a percentage of their earnings into a savings account. Marcella put 30% of $200 into savings, and Javier put 15% of $400 into savings. Did one save more than the other? If so, by how much? Okay, so this means that I'm going to do a percent proportion for each person and then compare the amounts that they saved. So let's label M for Marcella. And Marcella put 30%. So I'm going to box my 30% of 200. So my of is 200. Okay. So 30% is 30 over 100. And I'm setting that equal to my is, I don't know yet, but my of, I know is 200. Again, an easy jump to make, right? So from 100 to 200 is multiplying by 2. So up here in my numerator, I'm going to multiply by 2. 30 times 2 is 60. So I know the how much she put into savings is $60. Okay? So Marcella saved $60. Now let's set up Javier's. Put a J for Javier. All right, so Javier put 15% of $400. All right, so 15% is 15 over 100. And I am setting that equal to an amount, we don't know the is, over the total of 400. Again, an easy jump from 100 to 400. is multiplying by 4. So in my numerator, I'm going to multiply by 4. 15 times 4 is 60. So though they had different amounts, $200 versus $400, Marcella putting in 30% really helped her. And Javier only putting in 15%, it meant that they both saved the same amount. So it said, did one save more than the other? If so, by how much? So did one save more than the other? No. They both saved $60. All right. Let's look at the next one. A carpet cleaning company will clean an apartment for $65. Jim has a coupon for 20% off the total price. How much money would Jim save if he uses the coupon? So we know that a coupon helps us save money. It means we don't pay as much as we would have. So we need to calculate we need to do a percent proportion here. We know our percent is 20%, so I'm going to box that. And we know the total amount of the apartment cleaning was going to cost $65. We want to know the portion he's going to save. So that's the portion off. So 20% is our 20 over 100. And we're setting that equal to, we don't know the percent that he's going to save, the little bit he's going to save, the part. But we do know our of $65. All right. So it's not an easy jump here from 65 to 100 or 100 down to 65. So I'm going to use cross multiplication strategy. So 20 times 65. And my calculator says that's 1,300. And then I have to divide that by the number that's left, which is 100. So I divide that 1,300 by 100, which is moving my decimal 2 times, or you could pop it into the calculator. 1,300 divided by 100 is 13. So that means that Jim is going to save $13. So how much money would Jim save if he uses the coupon? Saves $13. All right, number 22. The average giraffe is 14 feet tall. What is the height of the average giraffe in yards? And then it tells us that our conversion factor is 1 yard equals 3 feet. I have to think through this. Am I going to be dividing that 14 feet or multiplying at 14 feet? So I like to draw pictures. Okay. So I know this is a really weird picture, but I want to draw a picture so I could try to think, how am I going to do my measurement? So I know if all the way up here is 14 feet, the height, right? And so that's my feet all the way down, right? And I know that every 3 of them, 1, 2, 3 is a yard. 1, 2, 3 is a yard. This means that I'm dividing that 14 up into yards. So I can simply do 14 divided by 3. All right. So that's one way that you can do it. So our 14 divided by 3, let's make sure that we are setting that up in a so that we have a fraction or mixed number answer and not just a decimal. So 14 divided by 3, we have 14, 3 goes into 14 4 times, because 4 times 3 is 12. And that leaves us with a remainder of 2. And we put that over our original number of 3. So 4 2/3. But if you had popped that into the calculator, you got something like 4.66666. So a whole bunch of sixes. So you round it to about 4.67. But we'll be looking for it in the fraction form. All right, number 23. A walking trail through a forest is 42,705 meters in length. What is the length of the trail in kilometers? And it tells us the conversion factor that 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. So if I want to go from these meters down to a kilometer, I have to divide. So 42,705 divided by 1,000. So you could put that into your calculator. Or you could do something pretty simple. If I'm dividing by 1,000, my decimal is here because it's a whole number. I'm going to move my decimal how many places? 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0. So 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So that means I have 42.705 kilometers. All right. So now let's look at number 24. Sorry needs 12 pints of lemonade for a summer pool party. Which choice is equivalent to 12 pints? All right, so our customary units of capacity table tells us that 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces, 1 pint equals 2 cups, 1 quart equals 2 pints, 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. All right, so what we can do is and see how each of these convert in comparison to 12 pints of lemonade and see if they make any sense. All right, so let's start. I'm just going to let's start with D, 8 quarts. 8 quarts. I know that 1 quart equals 2 pints. So if I had 8 of those, that means I will have how many pints? I will have 16 pints. She only needs 12. So that's not right. Okay, so this equals 18 pints. So that's not it. This equals 16 pints. So that's not it. Okay, let's look at 24 ounces. All right, let's compare. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So 24 ounces will be 3 cups. There are 2 cups in 1 pint. So that's not going to get me to 12 pints. So I know that B is not an option either. Let's look at C. C is 36 cups. So in 1 pint, there are 2 cups. So that means in 36 cups, it's 18 pints. That's not what I'm looking for either. How about 24 cups? 24 cups. If 2 cups equals 1 pint, then 24 cups would equal 12 pints. So that's my answer. And number 25. How many centimeters are in 12 inches? And it tells us that the conversion factor is that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. So if I have 12 inches, wants to know how is that broken up into centimeters. So that means I am multiplying my 12 inches times that what each centimeter is, 2.54. All right. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do some math. All right. So I didn't use the calculator for this one. I went ahead and did the multiplication out myself. So I got 3,048, but I have to put in my decimal places, and I have 1, 2 numbers after the decimal. So I'm going to move my decimal point over 2 places. 1, 2. So I have 30.48. 30.48. 30.48 centimeters in 12 inches. All right. So you should have all of your codes. You should have codes 1, 2, and 3. And so my math dinosaur name for mine, I have a kind of weird but cool name, is Bite Angle Spinex. Which would probably look something like this. Bite Ankle Spinex is my cool math dinosaur name. I can't wait to see what yours is. Have a great day.